I'm going to turn it over to Janae Hambrick.
Thank you, Cindy. Hi, all. My name is Janae Hambrick. I am a board member of the Stonewall Democrats, and I'm actually a member of the Young Black Democrats as well. So the next question that we have for you is, what is your impression of ShotSpotter and similar AI policing technology? And we'll start with Kevin Kelly.
Thank you. ShotSpotter is often improperly referred to as kind of a solution that will suddenly give perfect information. ShotSpotter has not been successful in many ways because while it is effective in indicating where the shots have occurred, the coordination and the arrival on the scene of Cleveland Division Police has not been well coordinated, and by the time they get there, the threat is gone. What it's been helpful in is if you use ShotSpotter, if you use the technology, you can look at where the shots are happening, and you can use it as part of your deployment strategy. And if you can use it as part of your deployment strategy and have more police in the area where the shots are happening, where the violence is happening, then they can respond quicker. So I believe that there's a use for it, there's a path for it, but it is not the end all of how we're going to stop violent crime. It's a tool that could be developed into something more appropriate. But I think that we do have technology, we do have significant amounts of crime data and where crimes are happening, that we can use that as a deployment strategy. ShotSpotter itself is not the end of the story. It's been an interesting experiment, but so far it has not proven to be anything more than that. It's given us some information on where shots happen, but in terms of stopping crime and stopping the shots, we haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, thank you. So next we have Dennis Kucinich.
Anyone in the city of Cleveland who is paying attention, and that's most people, we are all shot spotters. Our ears are picking up these gunshots as part of the music of the night. This is a technology that we're concerned about. We can hear these shots being fired. What's going on in our city? Our city is getting inundated by gun violence. I mean, it's a fact, whether it's been picked up by some sensitive device somewhere or not, we understand there's something deeper going on here. Violence is overwhelming our city. We're one of the highest per capita with serious violence of any city in America. So what does that mean? We need to address the root causes of violence. That's why I want a civic peace department. We need to find out what's going on in communities before violence percolates to the top and it ends up with shots being fired. We need to talk to young people in particular who are trapped in this cycle of violence. We need to help them find a way to divert from that so that they can find a path in life that will be one with peace and justice. That's possible, but we have to pay attention to these children. We have to make sure that all of the violence that's occurring, the most violent criminals are taken off the streets. That's why I call for more police. But more police alone, that doesn't cut it. We need to have a reorganized principle of peace, not just law enforcement. I'm ready to lead this in a new direction, where the questions of technology become secondary to being able to actually address the real facts on the ground, the facts in our neighborhood, the facts of drive-by shootings and gangs that are out of control. We need to bring law enforcement back to the city, but we need to do it in an atmosphere of peace and reconciliation. I'm prepared to do that.
Okay, thank you. So next we have Zach Reed.
Thank you for the question. I think the overall question is, why are we using the technology that other cities, other communities are using to help reduce the violence in their wards, in their communities, and in their neighborhoods? And as mayor of the city of Cleveland, I'm going to use whatever technology it is going to take to ensure that the residents of the city of Cleveland are safer than they are today. The fact that 2 days ago, when we reached 100 homicides in the city of Cleveland has now gone 10 consecutive years of 100 homicides. Let that sink in for a second, people. City of Cleveland has now gone 10 consecutive years with 100 homicides. That's 1,000 individuals that have been killed in the last decade here in the city of Cleveland. So whether it's ShotSpotter, whether it's more surveillance cameras, whether it's computers working in police cars, whether it's using the cure violence model that I'm talking about, whether it's using the real policing model that I'm talking about, something has to be done. And it has to be done urgently. And this not taking this as a sense of urgency, as a crisis, as an emergency, it's really mind-boggling to me. That we look at that 70 to 80% of the people that are being killed on the streets of the city of Cleveland are young Black men. They won't even have the chance to join the Northeast Ohio Young Democrats because they're dead. Their moms and dads had to bury them. That's my approach. Let's do something about the overall violence. And if it means bringing in new technology, let's do that.
Okay, thanks so much for that. Next, Sandra Williams.
Thank you so much for the question. And yes, I do support the ShotSpotter as well as the police technology. When we used to have ward club meetings in the city of Cleveland to talk about what was happening in the city, the first thing that the commander or police officers say to members of the community is, we need you to call us. We need to know when things are happening in your community. We don't care if it's a false call or not. If you believe you've seen something, if you believe you've heard something, then we need you to get on the phone and call us, because that is the only way we can get busy, get into your community, and try to resolve the problem. So yes, ShotSpotter, I have an app on my telephone that looks at crime all throughout the city. For those individuals who don't think that crime is happening within their community, within their ward, are sadly mistaken, because it's happening everywhere. This is a way for not only law enforcement to address crime in our communities, it's a way for citizens to also be safe when they're in their homes and their communities and know what's happening around them. And then I would say this, the other thing we need to do, if we're going to have it, and I think Congressman Kucinich talked a little bit about this, if you're going to have, and it might not have been you, but if we're going to have this technology in the community and policing is very important, because you cannot have an officer, a one-car officer on the other side of town trying to respond to something that happened on the other side of town, because we don't have enough police officers on the streets. I want crime decreased. I want it to happen immediately. I want citizens to feel safe. And so whatever technology it takes, I want us to be using it, and we will use it under my administration.
Okay, thanks so much. Next up, Justin Bibb. I think you're muted, Justin.
Oh no, I think Justin might have frozen.
Yeah, we might have lost. Okay, so maybe we'll get him back.
Ross,
So
you
we
wanna
can
get
to Ross?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to go ahead, Ross? We'll circle back to Justin.
Okay. So my impression of ShotSpotter is only that it's a new tool, and I'm not for it right now in Cleveland in 2021. I did watch felony court for almost 8 years, and I never saw it as used as evidence in any of our criminal cases. But it's a new tool, right? So it can be being utilized in a racially biased way at this time, like right out of the gate. So I don't feel comfortable being the guinea pig city that, is prosecuting people, right? The last thing we want is, arrest statistics too high, incorrectly high. And the last thing we want are people prosecuted or taking pleas based off this intimidating new evidence, which again, I frankly just don't know enough about, right? And it was not, I didn't get to see it in my 8 years. So it's new. So why be the guinea pig city when we already are imprisoning way too many people, right? And our arrest numbers are way too high. Our guilty pleas are way too high. We overcharge consistently. Now, I am for tracking. I'm sorry, I think somebody put something about my time on there, but I'm all
Yes, we've got it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm all for tracking gun violence, right? And trying to prevent gun violence based on data collection. But that's just the thing, right? We want to deter crime before it happens. So if you have gun ballistics, gun data, hopefully if crime number one happens, there's a way to, based off gun tracing, to prevent a second crime from happening, there within 24, 48 hours. But as to ShotSpotter, I'm not for that. And I would like other cities to be the guinea pig cities because, we over prosecute, we overcharge, people take guilty pleas because of the leverage.
And that is
the
your
court
time, Ross.
system places. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we'll circle back to Justin Bibb. We lost you there for a moment.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi was down. My apologies about that.
Age of technology.
Yeah, it happens a lot in Cleveland, unfortunately. I think what we missed in this discussion is the importance of centering this dialogue about the ShotSpotter technology and AI and policing around a nuanced conversation related to racial equity. And in the work I've done all across the country with mayors all across this country is, if you don't leverage resident voice and get resident buy-in, particularly in communities of color where there's inherent distrust with technology and with the police departments, then we're not going to be able to use these tools to better provide safety and security across our community. I've seen this in the work I've done with Hack Cleveland right here in Cleveland, Ohio. After the murder of our dear brother, Tamir Rice, we got together residents, activists, technologists, and said, how can we better use technology based on your lived experience to come up with new solutions to advance criminal justice reform? So without that context and without that grounding, then we're not going to be able to use these technologies to provide that safety and security. And that must be the litmus test and the centering work we have to do to come up with new ways to address violent crime all across our community. It starts with building trust and making sure that we're grounding it in the real lived experiences of the residents that need safety the most all across our city.
Okay. Well, I thank you all for answering the question. So now over to Dr.